When I was trying to go to treatment and stuff and they found out that I was in active use, there was so much shame.
Well, addiction is something impacting communities all across this country. In southern Colorado, we are no exception. As we continue our Two Americas series, exploring the America you know, the America you may not know, tonight, News 5's Allison Zimmerman introduces us to some of the faces in our community directly impacted by addiction and those working to find solutions.
Because there's a stereotype that people have in their minds, I believe, of who the average victim of an overdose is.
Every one of us faces battles of some sort throughout our lives.
I consumed myself with anything that would fill the void.
And when it comes to something like addiction, it's a battle that seems to move in any pattern other than a straight line.
I would get overwhelmed by life and its responsibilities.
For some, it starts young.
I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 13 years old.
And I think the first time I smoked weed I was probably about 9.
Get it under your chin.
Dan HUGILL's days are typically filled with high energy, lifting weights and encouraging others.
Excellent.
But like others, his battle with addiction started around middle school.
I used to be really socially awkward. I started drinking, like the first drug I ever actually did was ecstasy. By the time I was 14, 15, I had a fake ID and I was buying liquor. And I was full-blown drinking every day, like sophomore year in high school.
HUGILL says he found himself going down a difficult path.
You know what was going through my head while I was battling addiction is, what am I gonna do to make sure I have enough money or drugs to make sure I don't run out of drugs. First it was fun, and then I became so dependent on them, and just everything that comes with that, the criminal behavior, the lifestyle. I had to start selling drugs. I got in trouble for robbery. Like, your life just becomes, let's just call it, just super unmanageable.
At one time, he had multiple warrants out for his arrest. Then one day he got a phone call. It led to bounty hunters capturing him and putting him behind bars.
That was when I got clear-headed enough to finally start taking a look at my life and realize, Dan, you're going to prison, bud. And I was like, huh. So that was it. So that was when I first started thinking maybe I need to get sober.
HUGILL did go to prison, but got another chance through a drug court program, where he served a portion of his 12-year sentence.
So it's just here to here?
HUGILL is now part of an organization called the Phoenix. He teaches exercise classes, and the cost of membership is 48 hours of sobriety. He credits the community he's found with his life today.
I never thought I could have a life like this now, and it's just getting better and better and expanding more and more, and I'm finding more community and more people to help, and it's powerful.
In addition to his work with the Phoenix, HUGILL also works with Springs Recovery Connection, a place the next two people we'll meet spend a lot of time. Dominique Knowles is the Justice Program Manager here.
In 7th and 8th grade, I found alcohol and weed. And so I remember sneaking out at night, and I'd go hang out with these people that were a couple years older than me.
JERRID DOMINGUEZ works as a peer recovery coach.
It's easy because I speak their language. They trust me because I know what they're going through.
Both Dominguez and Knowles have had their own struggles with addiction throughout their lives, and now they work to help others going through similar experiences.
Well, my son's story wasn't the typical story.
For TRUETT SCOFIELD, this month marks 1 year since he lost his son TJ to an overdose.
Kind of paralyzing. You don't get a lot done. Very emotional young man. You know, had a lot of empathy for folks. Yeah, I miss him.
Scofield says he's felt a stigma towards his son's death over the last year.
There's just not a whole lot of empathy for victims of overdose.
That stigma is something people like Knowles and Dominguez say is impacting progress for people in recovery.
I think generally everybody needs to understand that there is hope, and no matter how many times a person gets off their path of recovery, like making sure that we keep the doors open and keep conversations open for others.
Just that there's hope. You know that there's hope and you don't have to give up.
Allison Zimmerman reporting for us tonight. As hundreds of Coloradans die from drug-related deaths, state lawmakers and community organizations throughout the state working to find solutions. Some of the big conversations include how to spend the millions of dollars Colorado is receiving from opioid settlement money, as well as how to give people the resources they need to overcome addiction.
There's a saying that the opposite of addiction is community, and so that's really the best way that we know to help people feel like they can move from active use into recovery is there's a place where you'll be accepted, you'll be supported.
The state legislature is looking at a handful of bills right now during the session, including adding a substance abuse counseling center right here in Colorado Springs. Now, if you or someone you know may be struggling with addiction, there is help available. We have a whole list of resources in Southern Colorado for people to reach out to on our website at KOAA.com. You'll find it under this story under the Two Americas tab.